Thank you for joining me today. Although this edition of Jasher claims to be faithfully translated from original Hebrew into English in 1887, scholars do not believe that this is the book of Jasher that is referenced in Joshua or in 2 Samuel. So if that's true, it hasn't survived or we haven't found it yet. Let's start in chapter 66. We have the newest Pharaoh. He reigns for 13 years, and then Samlah reigned over Edom for 18 years. And there should be more fighting with the children of Esau, but it was prevented, thankfully. And so the children of Israel will have more labors put upon them. And in the 125th year of Israel's slavery with Egypt, the king's officer from Mesopotamia, his name is Job, and he says, I've got this great idea. Since the people still increase and the people still grow, let's just say that the laws of Egypt shall never be revoked, and every male child born, his blood shall be spilled upon the ground. And we're going to send in the Hebrew midwives to make sure this is done. And if they don't do what we ask them to do, we're going to burn their houses down. But the midwives feared God instead, and so they didn't participate. We see in chapter 67, a descendant of Levi will marry Jochebed, Jochebed. They have a daughter, Miriam, and a son, Aaron. King Zepho dies, some other rulers die, and in the 130th year of their slavery, Pharaoh has a dream. So he calls these two counselors to tell him what it means to interpret his dream. And the first one says, "Long live the king." The other one says, he starts giving the history of Abraham and Sarah and how Jacob got delivery through his integrity from his brother Esau. And then he talks about Joseph and he says, you should cease from destroying the children of Israel and let them go to Canaan. But of course that isn't going to go well. So the king says, let's just throw all the male children into the water. So I want to share something with you. So it says this, and the Lord who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them sent one of his ministering angels, which are in heaven, to wash each child in water, to anoint and swathe it, and put it into its hands 2 smooth stones, from one of which it sucked milk and from the other honey. And he caused its hair to grow to its knees, by which it might cover itself, to comfort it and to cleave it through his compassion for it. And when God had compassion over them and had desired to multiply them upon the face of the land, he ordered his earth to receive them, to be preserved therein until the time of their growing up. So I just thought that was interesting. It goes on to say a little bit more. I've got one other thing I'm going to read for you tonight. So Pharaoh says, let's go to Goshen, find a baby, and take it by force. So Miriam, remember, we just heard about her. She has this prophecy that her parents will have a son to save Israel from the hands of Egypt. And so Amram, who's Miriam's dad, had sent away Jochebed, his wife, because Pharaoh wanted to kill all the male children. And so he goes to her and she conceives, and then she hides Moses for 3 months inside the house. So the Egyptians come into the home and the baby cried, and she makes this ark of bulrushes. You know the story with the slime and the pitch. And because of the terrible heat, the Egyptians are going into the water to bathe. And Bathia, Bathia, she's the one who sees the ark. And so she has her handmaid fetch it. And then we see that Moses' mom gets to nurse him, and she gets 2 bits of silver daily. And when he is weaned at 2, she's turned back over to Pharaoh's daughter, Bathia. There's something really cool that I want to read to you as we finish up chapter 68. It talks about the names that Moses was given. Now, I know I called him Moses, but it says this. It says that Amram, his father, called him Chebar. Jochebed, his mom, called him Jekuthiel, which these are probably all mispronounced. Miriam, his sister, called him Jared. Aaron, his brother, called his name Abizanak. And Keilah, the father of Amram, so his grandfather, called his name Abigor. And so this is just, to me, very, very interesting. The nurse called him Abisocho, and all of Israel called his name Shemaniah. So I thought that was very, very interesting that everybody named him something different. But Bathia, Pharaoh's daughter, named him Moses because she pulled him out of the water. Armor Up, we write at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.